Hey guys, so as promised in a few videos ago, and I try to live up to my promises when I can, I am going to be talking a little about the dead and their vaulted arches. This is the fifth Flavia Deluce novel. I'm going to try to get back to this series. I haven't read the whole book yet, so I want to do a two-part video of what I've read so far, and then the second part will be the rest of the book. So just going into my thoughts on the opening of the novel. The novel before it ended with this huge ass cliffhanger of like they found Flavia's mother who died in the Himalayas, but now it's written in such a way where you speculate, well, maybe she's alive. And Flavia's been dwelling on this, and the whole family's been reacting to this. You know, her father, their butler, and her two older sisters, Ophelia and Daphne, or Feely and Daffy, as she calls them. And only to find at the beginning of this novel, her mother is in fact dead. And it is her body that is being transported to the family graveyard at the train station in the little village they live in. However, while waiting on the, while at the, a formal funeral ceremonies with all these government people in attendance, delivering the body and wishing her father, who is a former military man, their condolences and their best wishes, she sees a mysterious guy moving around. And he tells her something like, I'm a friend of your family, and you gotta tell your dad that this happened. Tell him that this specific thing is here. Flavia is, of course, confused, and is like, why the fuck is this dude I don't know, never seen before, telling me to tell my dad this? Only to be pushed off the platform and ran over by the train. So this is where the mystery starts. Flavia's the only guy to have seen this guy. He confides some important intel to her that pertains to something about her parents' past, and makes her realize that she has some kind of connection with this dude. Only to be pushed off by somebody else who didn't want this info going around and killed under the wheels of the train. Later on, Flavia is hiding in the attic because she's depressed and she's crying and she wants to kind of be away from her. She finds a trunk of old pictures of her parents. Or not old pictures, I should say. Well, they're pictures, but she finds a strip of film. And she develops it, actually, using her knowledge of chemicals and solutions and solvents and all that. Develops this stretch of film, runs it through a really old projector, and she finds out it's home movies that her parents made before she was even born. She sees her little sisters, toddler age, interacting with their parents, and she sees that her mother was in fact pregnant with Flavia at the time these were shot. And even though her father and her mother and everyone else is in frame, they're being shot by somebody she doesn't know. Someone who isn't within frame, and this leads her to wonder, who is this mysterious stranger filming these things? So that's kind of where I'm at so far. I'm excited to see kind of what happens next, because according to the description on the back of it, I'll just read it to you. It says, on a spring morning in 1951, 11-year-old chemist and aspiring detective Flavia Deluce gathers with her family at the railway station, awaiting the return of her long-lost mother, Harriet. Yet upon the train's arrival in the English village of Bishop's Lacey, Flavia is approached by a tall stranger who whispers a cryptic message in her ear. Moments later, he is dead, mysteriously pushed under the train by someone in the crowd. Who is this man? What did his words mean? And why were they intended for Flavia? Back home at Buckshall, the Deluce's crumbling estate, Flavia puts her sleuthing skills to the test. Following a trail of clues sparked by the discovery of a reel of film stashed away in the attic, she unravels the deepest secrets of the Deluce clan, involving none other than Winston Churchill himself, which he actually has made an appearance so far. He looks into Flavia's eyes and says, do you like pheasant sandwiches? Flavia's like, what the fuck does that mean? However, she later learns that her mother likes pheasant. And It's kind of his cryptic way of saying, "Are you going to be like your mother?" You know, which is a really interesting way of asking that question. Anyway, back to the description here. Surrounded by family, friends, and a famous pathologist from the Home Office, and making spectacular use of Harriet's beloved gypsy moth plane, Blithe Spirit, Flavia will do anything, even take to the skies, to land a killer. So this sounds amazing. Like, it sounds like Flavia's gonna, like, be an amateur pilot. It sounds like, she's gonna, like, test out her air wings, see what's going on. And it is talked about it before, that her mother actually had a plane. And in these home movies that I described, she's seen in the cockpit of them, setting up these things that are going to come later. So far all I've read is pretty much just been set up. I've only read the first few chapters so far. But this payoff sounds like it's going to be explosive, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And like I said, I will be doing a second part to this review to describe the remainder of the novel and my thoughts on it. So, but for an opening, it's pretty good. It's actually the best Flavia Denise novel I've read so far. And the thing about them is they steadily get better. Now, I've said in a previous video that they're all kind of formulaic, and they all have kind of a samey vibe to them. You have the same kind of... And the characters all kind of fit these kind of little archetype character spots. Like, this character's kind of here for this purpose, and this character's kind of here for this purpose, and this character's here for this purpose, that character's here for that purpose. And that's true. And that's true of all the series. But the plots themselves get more and more interesting. And while Flavia's kind of more of a static character, she's such an entertaining character, and she kind of feels like a real, like, amateur sleuth. She feels like a real smart kid that you would know and, like, is believable in how she would think and say and act, that you like being along for this ride. You want to see what happens. And it sounds like the writer of this series, Alan Bradley, is really, like, upping the ante in this. It sounds like this one he's kind of like, let's take Flavia and put her in an adventure that I haven't done yet. And it seems like he kind of does it with all of these. Like, if you start off with the first book, called The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie, and read them all chronologically up to where I'm at now, which is the 5th book, you know, the series gets a little more ambitious. Like, the mysteries get a little more complex. The motives get a little more, like, harder to follow. And not harder to follow as in, like, that didn't make sense. More in, like, oh, it's less obvious. Like, it's like he's getting better and better at writing mystery with each of these mysteries. Which is definitely a good thing. And I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the series, to see where he takes Flavia and to see where the series goes. So, that's going to be really exciting. And even just reading the conclusion to this one is going to be really exciting. So those of you who have been following this series, or even following my channel in general, know I like this series. And I've done previous reviews on the first 4 books before this one. If you guys have watched those, please do. Kind of get my thoughts on those, and you kind of see why I like them, because I go into some in-depth about them, and the characters, and the writing style, and kind of the appeal to them to me. As I've said before, if you're interested in reading this series, keep in mind it's not a hardcore, hard-boiled mystery series. It's not dark or gritty or realistic. It's not like Linwood Barclay. It's not like John Grisham. It's not like Michael Connelly. It's not like Robert Parker. It's not like those dudes. It's more lighthearted. It's more like cozy mystery. It's more like a whimsical Agatha Christie kind of thing. It's not really like some dark, heavy shit with people being killed and described in brutal ways how they died. It's more like, who poisoned the tea and killed this person? Let's find out. It's more like that. And the series can be realistic. I mean, the characters are realistic, the setting's realistic, the town they're realistic. It's a realistic series, but there's more of a whimsy to it. There's more of a comical edge to it. The whole thing is written very lightheartedly, the characters are very lighthearted. It's meant to be more light entertainment instead of serious hardcore shit to read if you're interested in that kind of stuff. That being said, it's fun. It's a fun series. And don't get me wrong, this series actually can be disturbing at points. There are certain scenes that I'm like, oh, that's pretty hardcore for this series of books. But it's definitely entertaining, and it's actually nothing that You know, a kid could read these. They're pretty mild. There's not even like any hardcore swearing, anything. It's pretty tame. So, you know, that in mind, if that sounds like your kind of series, definitely check it out. I know I'm loving them, and I've been away from them too long, so I'm trying to get back into them. But I definitely want to go back to them because they're really good books, and I'm looking forward to reading the conclusion to this one. So, anyways, I don't know when I'll be able to finish this one. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. But I will have a video up soon, the second part of this, and I might even do a few videos in between, just depending on what I have going on and if I have any inspiration to do something else. So keep that in mind. This is only a part 1 video to I have a 2-part series. And I hope you'll stay tuned and watch the second part when it comes out. So, as always, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. You guys are very supportive, and it means a lot to me that you care to hear me ramble on about, you know, whatever books I'm reading at that moment. Or books that I read a long time ago that I'm trying to remember on camera. But anyway, I couldn't do this without you guys, so I really appreciate it. And if you like what I do, please follow me, please subscribe. And also, if you feel like leaving comments, I will read them. So, thanks again. I'll be back in another video soon. And hopefully it'll be the next part. So, till then, see ya.